process like generators. Okay, so this all can create a electrical source. Okay, but ideal voltage source and ideal current source are not practically realizable because you cannot have infinite of amount of energy source to supply infinite of the energy infinite amount of energy without changing its voltage around it or a current through it. So that is why these are not realizable. You cannot make by any process a ideal voltage source or a ideal current source. So what actually practical source? Practically, the sources do not have a capability to maintain their voltage level across its terminals or current flow through them, since infinite power storage within system is not possible. So a practical source will not do that. If you have a voltage source and you draw a certain amount of power, a certain amount of current, after certain time the voltage will start dropping, or after certain value of current, practically the voltage starts dropping. Okay, because you cannot that doesn't have a capability to keep infinite amount of current through in it. Or similarly for a current source. So in a practical voltage source, the value of voltage degrades as the current is drained from it increases. A practical voltage source is modeled using a concept of ideal voltage source. So ideal voltage source is a concept which can model this practical voltage source. We'll see how it is modeled. So if you have a practical voltage source, if you see how it actually uh, uh, acts, so this I'll just enlarge it. If you see, if you have a source like this, let's say this is a source, okay, and these are the terminals. I'm not talking about what is there inside. Okay, inside, let us say this is a terminal voltage V, and when it is not connected to any way, it is V. Okay, so this is the portion, the current, current in this. Okay, this is VI characteristics. So voltage across this and current here. So when it is an open circuit, nothing flows, and the voltage here, because the current is 0. Okay, no current is flowing in this because it is no load is there. So it is this point corresponding to this point, and the voltage here is, you can say, V0, or the terminal voltage. And as it is connected to some no load or some network, it starts supplying power I. So this is the amount of I which is going through it. Okay, so depending on, you can change the value of current depending on the load here, and the current would increase in this way. Then what happens to this source? If it is a practical one, if it was ideal, there's no problem. It will be maintaining the current, whatever maintaining that voltage, whatever current you take up to infinite, this will remain same, whatever I amperes you take. Okay, as soon as, but in case of a practical source, as soon as you add certain current, the voltage through it start deteriorating. Okay, so as the current is higher, the voltage goes on lowering and lowering and so on. So a practical source is something like this. Okay, the voltage across it will start degrading as and when you go on increasing the power. So a practical voltage source is modeled as a combination of ideal voltage source connected with an internal resistance. Okay, so if you see this diagram, that is what is done here. You have a ideal voltage source with a value V. Okay, and then a internal resistance should be added to it, so that if this is open, then you have this position and you have the same voltage here, V0, as a terminal voltage. And as you draw current from this, the voltage will start dropping depending on how much current is flowing through this resistance R. So that is by using the concept of ideal voltage source and a resistance, one can model, or you can model the VI characteristics of a source or a voltage source, practical voltage source. Similarly, current source, practical current source, in a similar way can be modeled. If you go with this, here also, if you have a, if you see when the when the voltage is 0, that means when the voltage is 0 means terminal voltage is 0, it is short circuited over here. Okay, so voltage becomes 0 here, and then you get a current which is equal to I. So at this point the current is I, this current, which is I1 here. And as you remove this and you apply load to this, the depending on if it is an ideal one, then it maintains the current. Okay, if it was ideal, it would maintain the current as I1, whatever it is, it remains same. It doesn't matter whatever is the load and how much current you are pulling out of it. But in a practical current source, as you increase the voltage over here, the amount of current starts dropping, and that is how a practical current source acts. So I can say that in practical current source, the flow of current degrades or lowers as the voltage across it increases. Okay, so if you have a source like this, and if I show a voltage over here, assuming that there is a path which will be completed, it's not open here. Okay, so it is a path which can be completed and the current is I, and if I pull certain current voltage on it, impress certain voltage on it, it doesn't remain same as I, but it changes. Okay, so a practical current source can be modeled as an ideal current source along with a resistance across it. So this is a model of a practical current source. So this is about sources. Now we'll talk about source conversion, how one type of source can be converted into another type of source. For this, let us assume that we have there is a source here. I am not specifying which kind of source is this. Okay, and there is a load here, and load can be adjusted. This load can be adjusted to take any amount of current. So if it is a resistance, you can change on resistance or anything, and it will take amount of IL which you want. Okay, but I am deliberately not specifying the source as of now. Now if I try to see the voltage here, okay, when load is not connected, then the voltage is this one, and as soon as you connect the load, the voltage goes like this. Okay, so in this way, depending on what is IL, the voltage drops, and this gives a suggestion that this kind of source is a voltage source or a practical voltage source. And the value of that practical source can be determined by what was the value when no load was there. Okay, it was open circuited, so I can say that a practical voltage source had the ideal part V0 as this one, and then it has a resistance like this, and value of resistance can be determined by this. Okay, so if I know what is IL at any point of time, at any point IL, then I can easily find the value of R. So this is actually, I have modeled a source without knowing what kind of source it is. I say that this is a voltage source having a resistance I and a terminal voltage V0. Now let's see what another case here for the same circuit. So okay, it is essentially a practical voltage source. Then we'll see here. Okay, now there is if I instead of taking this, that is a voltage source V0 and a resistance R. Okay, this is this as a source in that diagram. I can also assume this as a source. So what I say is, now my source is a current source having voltage V0 by R, having a current V0 by R. Okay, and this is current I0, same V0 by R is I0, and then there is a resistance here across it, and this is VL. This also fit exactly in this. So these two are equivalent. You cannot identify by external characteristics that inside the box it is a voltage source or a current source. Okay, this and this are exactly the same. So if you have a voltage source inside that box, you can easily convert or theoretically say that it is also a current source of this format. Okay, that is voltage source with R here can be put as current source with I across it. So this concept is called source conversion. You can convert one source into another. So if you have a, but this can be done only for practical sources. You cannot convert a ideal current source into a voltage source or a current source, because if you do that, the value of R comes either to be infinite, so that is actually a undefined circuit, practically not realizable. So this conversion is possible for practical sources. You can put one source into a another form. So this is said to be source conversion. So you have to answer for yourself, why don't we convert practical ideal sources from one kind of source to another kind of source. So so thus practical voltage source can be converted into a practical current source and vice versa. So that is the statement of source conversion, and values of conversion you can easily calculate here. That is V0 by, if V0 is this and R is this, that then you can convert this into a current source by specifying this source to be equal to V0 by R, and the resistance R, same resistance R, but across it. So that is how you have. So now we'll move to another part, which is basically source types. Okay, we'll see what are different types of source are classified into different types. Up to now we have been discussing the kind of sources which were essentially DC. That means we were trying to show that this is the voltage. With time it remains same, so this is a voltage source. So this is actually called a DC voltage source or a direct current voltage source, because the value of voltage doesn't change with time and it remains constant. So this is a DC voltage source, or for that matter a DC current source if you have I0 like this. Now there are other type of source which comes, that is AC. That means you have current or voltages alternating, that means sinusoidal. So this kind of sources are also possible, and this along with time the value of voltage and current changes. So this could be V or I, and this kind of sources will be called AC or alternating current sources or alternating voltage sources. So this is normally if you have DC sources are very easy to specify what is the value, and that value remains same. Now this kind of voltages actually result for DC values normally result from battery type of sources. Okay, battery or photovoltaic concepts of battery or photovoltaic sources will give you DC sources, whereas this kind of sources come from actually rotating machinery. Okay, so if it is a mechanical machinery which is rotated and that energy is converted into electrical energy, that comes into a form of alternating current voltage source or current source. So if you have a AC type of source, then a DC is only specified by the value of the DC value of that particular source, whether that may be voltage or current. But a AC source will be characterized by the following three quantities. One is the amplitude. Okay, so if you have a DC is like this, then one thing which specify this is the amplitude. So it could be specified in terms of peak, okay, or in terms of RMS. We'll come to know what do we mean by RMS and so on. But one is the actually the peak value of this, okay. What is the peak value of this? The second is how fast it alternates, that is the frequency of this, okay. So this is one frequency, and I could also have this is another frequency. So this is also this AC voltage source of another frequency, okay. So these two things, amplitude, frequency, and the third one is the phase. Phase is basically we assume a standard sinusoidal voltage which starts from 0, and if you have a sinusoidal voltage starting from here, then you say this displacement or this time displacement is the phase difference between these two sources. So if this is a voltage source, this is actually a reference which we have always in mind whenever we talk about phase. So we have a reference in mind which is essentially starting from 0, or a sinusoidal starting from 0, and the second one is phase difference. So a AC source would be characterized by three things: amplitude, then its frequency, okay, value of say sine omega t, and omega is there, and there will be a phase along with it. So this is how you specify a AC source. Now there is other kind of apart from that, there are other classification of sources, that is what is called independent and dependent sources. So far we were talking about independent sources, okay, ideal sources or practical sources, which for whom the voltages or the currents were defined, okay. So this for example here the current source is say I0 amperes, and this voltage source is V0 volts, and so on. There is another kind of sources which we don't define explicitly, but their values are defined by as a function of some other values of current or voltage sources, and such sources are called dependent sources. So these are independent sources because their voltage doesn't, their values do not depend on a value of any other thing in the circuit. It can be AC or DC both, okay, because once it is defined, it becomes independent of anything. But there are other kind of sources which we show it like this, they are called dependent sources. And this is a dependent voltage source, or a symbol of dependent voltage source, and its value will not be defined by explicitly giving some value, that is 5 volt, 10 volt, 100 volt, or so on. Its value of across it will be defined by as a function of some current or voltage elsewhere in the circuit. So some voltage or current will be sensed, and that will be the function of this. So this is a voltage dependent voltage source. Similarly, you can have a dependent current source having this kind of symbol. Here also you don't define the current straightforward, but you define it as a function of some voltage or current, anything, okay. Here also current or voltage somewhere else in the circuit. So that is kind of a dependent. So amplifier is a kind of a dependent source. It could be a voltage amplifier or a current amplifier. The current is sent somewhere, but it amplifies and give you the voltage somewhere else. So that voltage point would be called a dependent source, which depend on the place where it has sensed, okay. So this is what I think we have to do for today.